Nice to
morning,
see
wherever
you.
you are in the world. Yes, thank you for the introduction, Tita Dodgy. Um, yes, I am here in Berkeley, California right now, UC Berkeley, and I have been here for about a month and a half now because I was recently placed here for my assignment as a missionary to serve the students at at the University of California, Berkeley. And so I just have a presentation about my work, a presentation about my organization as Focus, and why it's really important to be doing this work right now in my generation. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can begin. All right, so the title of my talk is bringing the eternal perspective to Gen Z. And so, Gen Z, first of all, is um, the generation that is currently in high school, currently in college and undergrad. So, I'm actually at the very beginning, at the cusp of the beginning of Gen Z. So, starting in 1997, I'm 23 years old, and that is the beginning of my generation. So, the change makers, the future of this world is this generation right now. We hear about it in the media a lot, the influencers of social media, um, just the age of technology. This is Gen Z. And yeah, I titled this talk Bringing the Eternal Perspective to Gen Z because the eternal perspective being Jesus, being hope for heaven, being something beyond this world. Um, yes, because especially my generation, we seem to be living just of this world, just grasping of the things of this world, money, careers, friends. And yeah, our eyes just forget to see that there is something beyond the life that we are living here right now. And so I'll dive into that as I take you through this talk this morning or this evening. So the Fellowship of Catholic University Students, this is the organization I work for, also known as Focus. And so our main mission as Focus as an organization is to bring the gospel, the good news to college students and to evangelize the whole world. Our goal is to reach every single person, like 8 billion people in the span of 33 years. And we do this specifically through a model that I will be going through, that the model that was that Jesus shared with us and that we imitate today as his disciples. And yeah, the reason why we um, touch college students is because the campus is where all of these students are making life changing decisions, life altering decisions, and we want to meet them there where they are just very open and open minded. And we want to just be able to form them and give them the foundation of Christianity so that they can go on in the world and bring that same love of Christ to other people, whether it be in their jobs, in their families, yes, the culture of tomorrow. And so the approach of Focus is to to win the hearts of college students, build them in their faith, and send them in the world. And so we do this by number one, to know, love, and serve God. And so what that looks like for us as missionaries, teaching the students is as missionaries, we pray for 1 hour every day. We receive the sacraments. We go to mass every day. We just try to build community. And so I'm on a team with other teammates who we all do most of the stuff together. We live in close proximity together so that we can just keep building each other up and just live lives of virtue with each other. And so by that example, the students are able to see how we are living and hopefully imitate that virtue so that they do not get sucked into the culture of college, which is can be very toxic, especially with all the influences that we experience as Gen Z today. And number two, we build virtuous friendships. And so, yes, today we just share that love and that joy with other people, and we build friendships with the college students. Um, like I said, being in college, a lot of students just are tempted by many things of the world, whether it be alcohol or sex or just many different vices that we face. It is very hard to find people with um, yeah, similar morals to you. And so we just share and be a witness to other people that it is possible to have, um, yeah, have the ability to have friendships that are virtuous in college, because a lot of my generation loses hope that authentic friendship even exists sometimes, because um, yeah, we are living in this culture of use where, oh, what can you give to me and what can I give to you? And friendship has really become transactional in my generation, because we are living in such a world where it everything seems transactional, and so it has bled into friendships. And so as missionaries, as leaders, out of college, we just show them that it is possible to have pure and virtuous authentic friendships. And number three, our approach to sharing the gospel with other people is to teach others to share Christ. And so as a missionary, I'm equipped to teach, but I also have to teach the teachers to teach. And so the way that works is we just follow what Jesus did, which is called the method modeled by the master. And so the master being Jesus Christ himself, and the model being Jesus. Um, as many of you know, like through the stories of in the Bible, Jesus handpicked 12 men to follow him closely. And because Jesus is God, he could have easily, in the snap of his fingers, evangelized the whole world. Everyone could have followed him. And yet he chose to share his church by picking 12 men to be leaders and then investing deeply and knowing them very well and loving these 12 men. And so as a missionary and as I build up more student missionaries, my goal is to do exactly what Jesus did. I invest deeply in a few people and teach them how to invest deeply in a more few people. And so we actually have more reach by doing it this way because it grows exponentially. So for example, I, Chesna, will invest in 3 women here at UC Berkeley. And I invest deeply. I know what their heart desires. I know all the ins and outs. I know um, things that are happening in their family. And so I know very deeply who they are, and I can teach them to do the same with other women. And so if you do the math, actually, the focus model, um, is in 33 years, which is the span of Jesus's lifetime. If one person invests deeply in three, and those three invest deeply in three, then in the course of 33 years, you can reach 8 billion people, which is the whole world. And so, right, 33 years, that's within our lifetime. Like I can see my whole generation transform. That's the hope. And so it makes it really exciting to do this work because, yeah, if you keep that hope alive, then who knows what this world will become. And so it's just very exciting to be a missionary. I'm very honored to be a part of this because all I have to do is something so small, which is invest deeply in a few and teaching them how to invest deeply in a few. And so I'm able to do this well because um, yeah, we receive a lot of formal training and intensive summer formation, and they build us up as missionaries so that we can use all of these resources that they teach us so that we can go onto campus and have these discussions, have these conversations with the college students. And so, as focused as an organization, we were founded in only 1998, so the year after I was born. And so it's a fairly young organization, and it was started by a man named Curtis Martin. And Curtis Martin, he went to the Vatican to talk to the Pope at the time, who was Saint John Paul II, and he asked the Pope for permission to start this apostolate, to start this missionary ministry. And yeah, he was one man and he had a few friends back home, and he had this vision for what it was to look like um, 20 plus years ago. And now it has grown exponentially. So many people have joined this organization, have come and gone through it. And now we are in 6 countries, in 41 states in the US, 175 campuses, 8 digital expansion campuses, 22 parishes. There are over 800 missionaries all over the globe, and we are at 205 locations total. So we've grown so much in just such a small time because of the model um, that has been taught to us, that we look to Jesus to, and has just multiplied. And it is just very good to see that the success of this company and organization as well. And so I want to talk about the need and why is it necessary for me to become a missionary and to be a missionary to college students especially. And so I mentioned before that yes, like decisions um, that people make are usually in their 20s. Like they make very life altering decisions. Um, During this time, they choose usually like choose who they marry, where they will work, um, where they will settle down, the jobs that they'll enter. And so, right, they will make these very life altering decisions for years to come. And so, for better, for worse as well, they decide to leave or stay with the faith during this time in college because they're out of the home and not with their family anymore. Their parents may not be bringing them to church anymore. And so they finally have this autonomy and this decision to make. Like, do I still go to church every Sunday or do I walk away from it? Do they have that solid foundation to keep going to church? Do they have that relationship or do they just fall away? And so, right, tragically, some people may never be given the opportunity to really hear and respond to God's message, and that makes yeah, my job even more exciting because I am able to meet these people where they're making this decision, and I'm giving them the ability to really make this well thought out decision by presenting to them who God is, and hopefully by showing them that He is love and that He desires for them to love him and for him to love them. And so there is a great need on college campuses because we are making such life altering decisions. And yeah, when you come to college, I'm sure you remember your days back at UP, maybe. You're just so open minded, right? You're able to just take the world and hear opinions and hear other things and be molded by the culture around you. And so it's still the same experience on college campuses. Like everyone is just very open to hearing things. And that's what makes my job so beautiful because, yeah, people are willing to listen to what I have to say. Maybe they don't agree with me, but I can at least plant a seed in their head that maybe there is some truth to the church, maybe there is some truth to Christianity. And so, right, there is a great need um, on college campuses and for missionaries on college campuses. And so, more specifically, within college campuses, the generation that is on college right now, at college right now, is the Gen Z. And so, here are just some realities. They're pretty harsh realities that Gen Z faces, that my generation faces. And so, I just wanted to share a few facts of what we have to deal with, especially now in a pandemic. These realities are heightened because yeah, we are living in such isolation and um, have really been cut off from relationship, cut off from community. And so these realities that I'll be sharing are probably greater than the numbers that I have here in front of me. And so the first reality is that 40% of students have reported and engaged in binge drinking in the past month. So what that means in the past month, 40% of students have drank over 4 to 5 alcoholic beverages in the course of one night. And so these students are getting like very drunk, and because they're trying to like suppress whatever problems they have of this world. And so, and this 4 to 5 number is probably on the lower end. It's probably very much higher, but yeah, 40% of students drink to forget. And so, yeah, they're just trying to like suppress a lot of things of the world and the realities of the world. Um, Second fact is that suicide is the second leading cause of death among college students. Um, and so, yeah, the numbers are only rising with the pandemic, and the numbers are only getting worse. And so, my generation has seen so much suicide and people taking their lives. And I think a lot of us have maybe somebody that we know who has done this. And so it just has become so much closer to home because we see friends, classmates, just deciding that life is not even worth living anymore. And then 80% of Christians who leave the church do so before the age of 24. So, like I said, these students are making decisions at a very early age, before the age of 24. And so we have to meet them before they even step away. And that's why the university setting is such a great playing ground for us missionaries. And then my last fact is isolation. And so, especially with Zoom and with virtual classes, with remote classes, a lot of students are alone for most of the day. They're sitting at their home in their bedroom, door shut, no interaction with anybody else, because they're just communicating over their phone, social media, whatever it may be. And so 42 of college students reported being so depressed it was difficult to function at least once per year. And so depression is increasing, and it has really affected so many people. And so, in spite of these harsh realities, yeah, we stand at a door of so much opportunity. And college, um, like I'm sure you may remember, was a time where you're searching for truth. Like you're searching for the answers. You want to know everything. You're just absorbing everything. And so questions that arise in within like a college student's head is, okay, who am I and what is my purpose in life? Like the classic existential questions that begin to form in the minds of 20-year-olds, of 18-year-olds. And so, yeah, this is where I meet them as a missionary. Through these genuine friendships, through deep investment, I am able to start to answer these questions with them and alongside them by introducing them to Jesus. And so they can begin to answer these questions that they've had for probably most of their life of who am I and what is my purpose. And every human being is searching for something. We're also searching for truth, for beauty. Um, we're all searching for happiness, for goodness. And so, yeah, like thankfully enough, we can all find this in the heart of Jesus, in the church. And yeah, it's just an honor to be a missionary and share with them there is a solution to these problems. And I want to be the person to help lead you to Christ so that you may hopefully get some of these answers answered or questions answered. Um, and so, why reach college students? I think I've said this a lot already, but yeah, the future leaders are studying on college campuses right now. And especially, yeah, being here at UC Berkeley here in California, um, it is just incredible to work with these minds and with these students. These are some of the smartest students of the world, and they all have flocked to Berkeley, California to study for under the greatest professors in one of the best organizations. So Berkeley is actually the #1 public school in the world. And so this just attracts very intellectual minds, and they will become the change makers of tomorrow. And so my founder of Focus, he says the philosophy of the classroom today will be the philosophy of the culture tomorrow. So if you just think about that a little more, right? Like, what are these students learning in the classroom? And usually is it are idea they are ideals that are against Christianity. And so um yeah, if these students subscribe to these ideals to these philosophies, who knows where the culture will be. And so um yeah, there is just such different and varying secular thought, and if there is no more Christian influence, then um maybe morals won't be as strong. Just the truth of God will start to disappear. And so it is just so important to come to college campuses and find these very influential minds and begin to form them in their faith so that they can bring them into their homes, bring them into their work, wherever they may go after college. And so, a little bit about why I personally wanted to become a missionary. Um, yeah, I just had great encounters with missionaries during my time in college, and they guided me and mentored me through um, just my journey as coming to my faith and coming deeper into my faith as a Catholic. And so I became a missionary because I have so many friends who are also deeply impacted and who wouldn't be the people they are today without these great focused missionaries who just taught them so much about how to live a good Christian life. And so, yeah, like um I came to college just never really questioning my faith. It was something that I believed, and I was like, "Okay, like I'll go to church on Sundays, but after that, that's about it." So I never really asked many questions because I thought I was just supposed to believe them and never really ask questions. But then when I got to college, I was just exposed to so many diverse people and diverse religions, diverse beliefs, and so I just began to question within my own beliefs. Um, so, like, does God really exist? And if he exists, how can I be so sure of his existence? And so these were the questions that arose. And I just, through that curiosity, I just really wanted to find the answers. And thankfully, I was able to go into the church and ask questions to my priest, to the focus missionaries, and people who did have these answers. And so, yeah, it really excited me. Like, this curiosity just fueled so much of my life. And I just kept digging deeper and deeper into these questions and found so much beauty, truth, and goodness from finding these answers. And so, yeah, the Lord just gave me so much space to grow as a leader. And I realized that so many students on campus, like, had the opportunity to receive this same formation that I had. And I just wanted to share that love of Jesus to all of my friends, whether they be Catholic or not, fallen away from the church or not. Um, I just had this great desire to share this same love to all these people. And that is ultimately why I am a missionary, because I was deeply impacted by focus missionaries in college. And I just want to be that person, hopefully, for at least one person here at Berkeley this year. Um, and right, being a missionary sounds pretty crazy, especially in the 21st century, and especially here. But as you can see in this picture, there I am in the front row. These are all the missionaries who are serving in California this year. And so all of these people have made this yes as well and made this sacrifice to serve the students. And we all, yeah, we're all figuring it out, but we all sacrificed so much. So as a focused missionary, you actually need a bachelor's degree to apply. And so, right, like, a lot of these people had like Fortune 500 jobs lined up. They had like very high paying salaries that they could have gone into, and yet they chose to give that up to serve as a missionary for at least 2 years. And so the commitment of a missionary is to serve for at least 2 years. You can go beyond that if the Lord is calling you to that. But it's just incredible to see all of these young people in this picture that we all decided to serve the church instead of chasing after um, of money or whatever the world is telling us to do. And of course, like a lot of these people, there are a few people in this picture actually, like they were med school students and they're just taking a break and they'll probably go back to the medical field. And so these people are being so well formed, and then they'll be going out into the world after their time in focus and influencing the world around them through whatever jobs and careers and families they eventually will start. And so it's just a really beautiful mission to see that all these young people want to do this very radical thing as well. And so, right, Chesna, you sound crazy. You're crazy for being a missionary, for giving up your degree in public health. Like right now, especially in a pandemic, like you could be using your degree, you could be helping so many people. But yeah, in a sense, it is pretty crazy and it is very radical to be doing this stuff. But I look to the people in the Bible, the apostles who went so far to even die for what they believe in. They were willing to be persecuted to just be believers of Jesus. And I think it's just very, they're great examples for how I want to live my life. Yeah, like it's just beautiful to give everything to the Lord. And this is just the opportunity for me to do that. Um, and right, to be a missionary, you also think, oh, missionaries, they go to a third world country, a developing country to serve the very, very materially poor people. And that's your idea of when you hear the word missionary. And you're like, Chesna, you're crazy. You're going to these college students. They have a roof over their heads. They have money. They're paying tuition. They probably are doing fine materially. Like, why do you need to be a missionary there? There might be a need somewhere where people actually need money. Um, and yet, like, these people are the most poor. Like, students on college campuses are so spiritually poor. Um, they're in deep isolation, deep depression. And yeah, there is this depth of spiritual poorness that can only be found on college campuses, especially amongst um, Gen Z students. Um, and so yeah, it's it's beautiful to be serving these people. But yeah, that is the reality of the world. There are um, just very spiritually poor people here on college campuses. Um, and another thing, Chesna, you sound crazy. You're a missionary. You're not making any money. And yeah, that's the beauty of it too. I'm able to invite so many people to support me financially by whatever work they are doing. And I am able to ask them to give to my mission so that I can touch these students' lives. For example, like I see Tito Jeanette here, my um, my dad's brother, and he is all the way in Manila, and he is able to support me and touch the lives of the students um, here at Berkeley. He may never meet them, but through his support, like I am able to maybe get coffee with a woman who might be struggling with depression, and I'm able to um, give her hope because of the financial support. And just to be living here in California with expenses being crazy, like I have 100% fundraised my salary, and I'm all backed by very generous supporters that have contributed to my mission. So it's really beautiful that it has worked out this way, and the Lord is very generous and has given me many generous people to support me as well. And so um, I want to share with you a few stories about I want to share with you a few stories about students that I worked with, and just how their lives have been changed throughout the course of their time in college. So this is Sabrina. This is me and Sabrina um, here in this picture. And Sabrina actually entered college as an atheist. So she didn't believe in God. She was even against that idea. And her heart was just very hardened to the idea of believing in God. Eventually, a focus missionary encountered her, and she um, grew up Catholic and was like, "Okay, I'll give this another shot. I think my mom would be proud of me if I went on this retreat." And so she went just to prove her mom wrong, to prove all the people in the room wrong. She was like, "God doesn't exist, and I'm gonna prove it by going to this retreat." Um, Gratefully, like, and just miraculously, she had this profound encounter with Jesus on this retreat. Her heart was changed, and she just had a lot of questions to ask because she was like, well, if this is true, and this experience that I've experienced on this retreat is true, then I want to know more. And so she had all of these questions, and she was able to actually ask these questions to focus missionaries, and they were able to begin guiding her to taking steps to believing these and growing her faith. And so I became friends with her during this journey, and I was able to walk alongside her during her time in college and share with her the truth of the church. Um, and yeah, I was just able to teach her all of this knowledge that had been passed down to me either through my Catholic schooling or through the missionaries who had taught me. And I was able to pass those teachings down to her. And so that's Sabrina. Started off atheist and now a very devout Catholic. Um, and this is Shelby. This is Shelby and I in a kayak. Um, so Shelby actually grew up Protestant, like evangelical Christian. So her family believed that Catholics were basically evil. All Catholics were going to hell. They don't know who Jesus is. They worship Mary. Just all these ideas. She had very wrong and skewed ideas of Catholicism. But then she began to have many questions about her own faith, and so she went to her family, and she asked her mom and her dad, "Oh, like, why do we believe this or why do we believe this?" And they were like, "Oh, stop asking questions." Just basically shut her down, and said, "Stop asking questions. Just believe it as it is." But she was unsatisfied with these answers, and so she was like, "Maybe I can find it somewhere else in a different church." And eventually, her sorority sister actually was Catholic, and she had this strong relationship with her and trust. And so her sorority sister said, I want you to talk to a focus missionary," and introduced her to a focus missionary and said, ask all your questions. Maybe you can start to begin to get those answers here in the church. And she was starting to find these answers, and she saw the beauty and the depth of the Catholic Church, and yeah, eventually decided to convert from evangelical Christian to Catholicism. And now she is a very devout Catholic, and she is in med school right now. And so she's yeah, is a great mind who is in the medical field, who is influencing so many people through her Christian beliefs. And so those are the stories about Shelby and Sabrina, um, and just how much focus missionaries were able to impact them in college, and that I was able to see their journey and be alongside them as a student as well when I was in college. And so I just want to talk also about earning the right to be heard. I think as a missionary or just somebody proclaiming the gospel, we can believe that, oh, she's probably just like stopping random strangers and trying to tell them about who Jesus is. But really, what I'm trying to do is form deep friendships so that I can earn the right to be heard and share that love of Jesus. Um, and so, right, um, like I said before, when you think of a missionary, you usually think of someone serving like the materially poor people, like somebody like Mother Teresa, who's pictured here in this slide. Um, and yeah, I'm here on a college campus. And I think Mother Teresa says it very well. And it actually is her feast day today. So, um, yeah, this is the anniversary of her death, um, 24 years ago. Um, and so I just want to um, share a quote by Mother Teresa when she saw America. So Mother Teresa was able to visit San Francisco actually, before she had died, and she saw the culture of America, and she was just shocked. She saw how people were living and how people were just so entrenched in material things and in their careers. And so she saw the culture of America and of the Western society. And she says, the greatest disease in the West today is not tuberculosis or leprosy. It is being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for. We can cure physical diseases with medicine, but the only cure for loneliness, despair, hopelessness is love. There are many in the world who are dying for a piece of bread, but there are many more dying for a little love. The poverty in the West is a different kind of poverty. It is not only a poverty of loneliness, but also of spirituality. There is a hunger for love, as there is a hunger for God. And so, yeah, Mother Teresa sums up very well that, yeah, there is this reality, this spiritually poor reality here in America and in Western culture. And that is at every university setting. And yeah, it just makes my job um, very important and very awesome to be a part of, because there is just so many people to bring the message of love to, just as Mother Teresa did so well to the people in the slums of India. And so, yeah, when we look to Mother Teresa too, I'm sure you can remember like her receiving the Nobel Peace Prize or just making public speeches. And because we know the work that Mother Teresa did, we saw with our own eyes, with pictures, videos, whatever, that she was serving these very poor people. She would be standing in a crowd of thousands of people, and all she had to say was, "God loves you." And people would begin to weep because of these three words that Mother Teresa would say. And obviously, it would be different if I said, okay, God loves you. It wouldn't be the same effect that Mother Teresa has. But, right, she had this authority because people saw so blatantly the love she had for others. And so, the same way that we try to share with college students that authority is by sharing with them that yeah we love very deeply, and so you can trust us, and so we earn that right to be heard, and so whatever we say they can begin to believe, and they don't have to be suspicious or skeptical about the teachings that we teach because they can see with their own eyes the good work that we are doing. So for example, in a couple hours actually, especially here in the Bay Area in the San Francisco area, there are a lot of homeless. And so on Sunday mornings, um, my teammates and a few students will go to the a park where a lot of homeless people live, and we'll serve breakfast. And so students can witness that, oh, we're actually doing very good work. So I can begin to trust what they're saying outside of these conversations because they just see with their own eyes the things that we are doing. Um, And then how can you support this mission? Like I said previously, I am 100% fundraised, and my salary is um, everything is from generous donors. And so, yeah, if you were impacted by this talk at all, I would love to um, yeah, talk with you more and see if you'd be willing to support this mission. And first and foremost, your prayers are what I need the most, and prayers for these students and for my work. And yeah, just spiritual help through prayers is what I most desire. But if you do feel called to support financially, I'd love to chat, and I'll put my contact information in the Viber group later. Um, and yes, that concludes my talk. And just very honored to be asked to do this TID talk. Very honored to be here with all of my dad's friends and classmates and broads. And it's just really incredible. Also, like, just seeing all the great work that you do. It's very inspiring. And it's just very an honor to be presenting all of these things today. So I'll go ahead and stop the screen share, and if anybody
Okay.
has any questions,
All right.
I can answer them.